We move on to the fifth and final category, and it's a new category for 2023, which is really exciting, because we were sort of struggling to sort of find our way into another way of sort of encapsulating change in a meaningful sense and rewarding it, basically. And I have the great pleasure of inviting up Chiku Bernardi, who is the Deputy Portfolio Director of Impetus, who will explain who's going to win from systemic challenge to meaningful change.
Thank you, Deepak. I had no idea when I said yes to doing this, this was going to be like the Oscars for the charity world. So I'm doubly excited. It was a real treat to judge this category from systemic change to meaningful challenge with my fellow judges. We had the lovely Berger from Prospectus and Mo from Spring Impact. If you don't know him, get to know him because he's brilliant. We wrestled. I know the judges have said that we properly wrestled. We thought it would be a straightforward call, but actually we spent a lot of time because we had some phenomenal candidates. They were the shortlisted charities: Breaking Barriers, MQ Mental Health Research, and Unfold. Breaking Barriers works in London, Manchester and Birmingham, supporting refugees to not only find employment, meaningful employment, but build a new life. And what massively inspired us about this organization was how the board oversaw growth into new areas, not growth for growth's sake, but growth with impact. And it thought a lot about how it would change and transform its program to make sure it delivered an impact in new areas. So that was really inspiring. The application was beautifully written, and clearly there was just enormous thought and care that had gone into the work that they do to change refugees' lives in this country. The next one is MQ Mental Health Research. They publish research and convene stakeholders to ensure that mental health is better understood and better funded. And what was inspiring about your submission was the foresight that your board had to recognize that the pandemic was a moment to stand up and be counted. That was really inspiring to see that action. And the third shortlisted charity is Unfold. They offer one-to-one mentoring support for young people and mums in London to boost their well-being and create self-efficacy and autonomy. And what was phenomenal about your submission was how the board really worked with the exec team to create culture change that then unlocked opportunities for you. So all of the submissions made us scratch our heads and think. The winner of this award is a charity that had their board roll their sleeves up and help while still maintaining their non-exec role, so not sort of treading on the toes of their executive team. They also really understood delivery in the category that was about meaningful change, moving from being a systemic challenger and yapping at the heels of a big bad system to delivering in the category of change by not only publishing work, but really changing the conversation and unlocking funding that had previously been going to other areas in the pandemic. And that is MQ Mental Health Research.
Well, I have to say that after the last two winners' speeches, we were secretly hoping a tiny bit that we wouldn't win, because to follow those inspiring speeches is really something. And I do want to pay tribute to all the winners tonight, because as has been said before, you know, we need these moments, actually, don't we? We all work in charity. It's hard. It's often a grind. And you have to be reminded of these wonderful people that you share this sector with, who just do such amazing work. So thank you so much. And really, I am just so delighted because I am so proud of MQ. I'm a trustee of MQ. I stepped in to be interim CEO when we had a small gap between CEOs, as all you charity trustees will know can happen sometimes. So yeah, definitely rolled my sleeves up and made sure the ship was ready for our fantastic current CEO, Lee. And I'm just so pleased that the word you mentioned, I don't know whether, there you are, sorry. The word you mentioned when you talk about our submission was taking that moment to stand up and really shout for mental health research. Because, mental health gets a lot of airtime. Mental health research, less so. And our passion as researchers, as people who believe in evidence, is that if we don't do the research, really it's just guesswork, and that is not good enough when we know that 1 in 4 of us will be touched by mental ill health during in our lives. So we still have this inequality that we still determined that we're going to try and equal the sorts of funding we see going into cancer and heart disease and the sorts of research gains that we've made there that have transformed people's lives. That is possible for mental health. That is absolutely possible if we come together and really make that case and show people that there is a pathway. And that is what we wanted to do. So the pandemic hit, we knew we were going to face an acute health crisis, but we knew that we would also face a mental health crisis, not just because COVID had neurological and psychiatric direct implications, but also because of the impact that the lockdown and the other measures would take, and that has been borne out. To get academics and scientists to come together in 3 weeks to write a paper that was published in the Lancet Psychiatry is really a feat that I am incredibly proud that we managed to do. And I do believe that it's one of the most cited papers that the Lancet Psychiatry has ever had. And most importantly, I think it really demonstrated that the mental health research community could get its act together when it needed to and could come up with a strategy that deserved funding, and it did help unlock that funding. More is needed, as ever, but it was certainly a step. So I'm very proud. Thank you so much to the great team at MQ, not least for putting this nomination together, and also to the fellow trustees who, in those moments, I know we were all there on the Zoom calls and really showed up. And just thank you very much.